Hello, my dear students. At the very outset, I would like to welcome you all for the 32nd session of your syllabus. In this session, we are going to have the discussion of the continuous part of the lesson, The Model Millionaire, a short story written by Oscar Wilde. Before getting into the lesson, dear students, let's have a small recapitulation of the previous class. In previous class, what we have already discussed. In the previous class, we have come to know Huggy's sympathetic attitude and his concern towards the old man was discussed. We came to know how sympathetic Huggy was towards the old beggar, and also you have worked in group to highlight the qualities of both Huggy and Baron Herzberg. We all came to know the major characters, who is Huggy, who is Baron Herzberg, who is Alan Trevor, and who is Laura Metron, and who is Laura Metron's father. We have all discussed about these major things. And learning objectives will be, it will help you to answer the questions about the texts and developing your ability to summarize the main idea of the story, and this is the learning objective. And after listening to this session, the outcomes will be, it will empower you to comprehend the story and write your reviews based on your understanding. Okay, don't much worry about these learning objectives and session outcomes. And in this PPT, very importantly, we'll have some important contents to be discussed in our further slides. They are the themes and message. What are the major themes of this story, and what message we can get from this story? And also we will have the discussion. We will have discussion about reflection of values and ideas of Victorian age. So Victorian age is one of the important periods in English literature, because Victoria lived in that period, and it is about 18th century. And also we will have the moral of the story, and also we'll discuss about the session summary, and at last, as usual, you will have some multiple choice questions regarding this PPT session, and also you will find some references. Let's have a discussion about the first content, that is the themes and message of the story. What are the major themes of the stories, and what message we will get after completely listening to the story? The major themes, the main themes are wealth, morality and beauty, class consciousness. All these themes we find in this lesson, and let's discuss one by one. Let us have discussion about wealth. The short story is clearly focused on the importance of wealth in Victorian England. However, wealth seems to be important for men and not necessarily for women. This is one of the important characteristics of Victorian period, because women were not given complete rights. They were just limited for kitchen, and they never used to come out of kitchen, and they never used to get any sorts of jobs during those days. The much importance was given to wealth, and men were the superior than women. So that is what it states, that importance of wealth in Victorian England, and wealth seems to be important for men, not necessarily for women, because we can find in this story also, because Huggy, he was struggling like anything to get settled in life, and he wanted to marry Lara Metron, but Lara Metron's father, Colonel Metron, he did not allow him to get marry his daughter until he earns 10,000 pounds in his career. But he was struggling like anything. He had been to so many kinds of business, but he was failure in all of his business. And morality and beauty is the another major theme of this story. So the narrator emphasizes that wealth alone is not enough to make friends, to be accepted in society, and to consider a good person. So wealth is not only the criteria for getting everything, because we can see such a good friendship in between Huggy and Alan Trevor. So this shows us that wealth is the least importance, and it is not enough to make friends and to be accepted in society and also to be considered a good person. And the last and a very important theme is class consciousness. All the characters illustrate class stratification in Victorian England. As we see in our country, in the present scenario, we find class and different classes and different categories, right? In those days, in Victorian age also, it was there. There's class stratification was there. The beggar represents the poor, and Huggy and Laura and the Colonel and Alan represent the middle class, and Baron Hausberg the upper class. So all sorts of people, all kinds of all categories of people were in Victorian era. And this is the next content we are going to discuss, reflection of values and ideas of Victorian age. As I told you just now, Victorian age is 18th century, where Queen Victoria lived, and it was the time of industrial revolution. So during those days, Britain was the supreme power. It was the superpower country, and it was developing country, and it was a time when industrial revolution has started. So that is what here we can see, that industrial revolution has widened the gap between the rich and the poor like never before in the Victorian era. The wealth was not distributed among the people equally. Because of this industrial revolution, rich, they used to get richer, and poor, they used to get poorer. So White's short story represents the social strata of Victorian society. So in Victorian society, we could see all kinds of people were there, and all kinds of working class people, and middle class people, and also rich people. And we find examples for these all categories by the characters. There is Baron Hausberg, a millionaire, clearly a product of industrialization. He was a great industrialist, and he's clearly is a product of industrialization. Because of industrialization, he became such a rich man, and he wouldn't mind gifting Huggy 10,000 pounds. It is not a small amount of money to gift for a marriage, but he wouldn't mind. So it shows us that he had such a huge wealth, and he was able to gain that kind of huge wealth only because of industrialization. Our happy go lucky protagonist Huggy Erskine and his artist friend Alan Trevor are representatives of the middle class that grew to constitute the largest section of the society. See, there were three kinds of section of the society we could see in Victorian age. One is poor, and the second one is middle class, and the last one is rich people. So our protagonist, our hero Huggy, and his friend Alan Trevor represents the middle class, because uh, they are struggling like anything to get settled in their life. Struggling has become their struggling is one of the major thing they are facing in their life. And another important feature of Victorian literature was its growing concern for morality. We could see such good morality in Victorian society. Moral in the story. So, what moral can we adopt after listening to this story? The model millionaire has the moral that one should extend hand to the needy person, and that definitely returns us with a double goodness. This we can see in the life of Huggy, and Huggy was such a generous man, and he wanted to give a coin to that old beggar, and it was his greatest generosity, and he had shown such a sympathy towards the old man, towards the old beggar, but it it was given back to him in the form of 10,000 pounds. Charity to be considered in everyone's life, it doesn't matter how much we spend in helping others. And this is also another moral we can learn by this story, the concept of Victorian love. As I told you just now, wealth was only the criteria for men, not for the women. That is what Laura's father, Colonel Metron, he put a condition to Huggy that he has to earn 10,000 pounds to get marry his daughter. So this is the concept of Victorian love. Let's see the session summary, what we have come to know in this session. Wealth, morality, and beauty, class consciousness are the main themes of the story. Baron Habsburg represents the upper class, and remaining characters represent the middle class. We came to know which are all belong to middle class. Huggy Erskine and Laura Merton and Alan Trevor, they belong to middle class, and only Baron Habsburg, and he is the model millionaire. He represents the upper class of the society. We would come to know how the Industrial Revolution affected throughout the Victorian era. Victorian literature was its growing concern for morality. So, Victorian society and Victorian era is one of the major periods in English literature when where Queen Victoria lived, and the Industrial Revolution, how it changes the whole society. So because of Industrial Revolution, there was great in differentiation among poor and rich community people. So these are all the things we have discussed in this session. Let's have a discussion about multiple choice questions. And here is your first question, as usual. The first question is which one of the following is not the theme of the story? Four options have been given. The first option is wealth, patriotism, morality and beauty. The last one is class consciousness. I think you may be getting the answer. So here the importance are given for wealth, morality and beauty, class consciousness, and patriotism is the right answer. So which one of the following is not the theme of the story? So patriotism, we don't find any patriotism in this lesson. And here is your second question, and here you find fill in the blanks. Wild story, the model millionaire represents the social strata of dash society. Which society it represents? Victorian, option B romantic, option C poor, and option D aesthetic. Of course it is a Victorian society. The story is based on Victorian society and Victorian era. And here is your third question. It is also fill in the blanks. Huggy Assign and Alan Trevor belongs to dash category. Which category do they belong? Poor, rich, middle class, Victorian. Huggy and Alan Trevor are close friends and they belong to middle class. Option C is the right answer. And here goes your fourth question. Who gives 10,000 pounds as wedding gift? Option A, Alan. Option B, Laura. Option C, retired colonel. Option D, Baron Habsburg. And the right answer is Baron Habsburg. And your last question. Who is the father-in-law of Huggy? Huggy Amawa, father-in-law. Yaru. Retired colonel, Alan, Laura, Baron Habsburg. And of course, he is the retired colonel. This man who put condition to Huggy to get married his daughter to him. And at last slide, in the last slide you find references. As usual, I have taken all these informations to all the slides from your textbook, that is Innovation, Board of Studies in English, Coimbatore University. And also I have taken some points from the website www.brainly.in for questions, and also from www.boardnon.com. And last, I have taken some informations from website www.enotes.com. By this we have completed the third lesson, that is the model Millionaire. I hope you understood well. Please take care of the study material and get ready for the examination, and all the very best. So we'll discuss the next lesson in our next session. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll meet in our next video session. Thank you so much.